Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is the last day of 2021 and the last video of our year to shine together. And I'm wondering if you're feeling like me. I always feel this way on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, just very reflective of what's happened in the last 365 days and what could possibly be ahead. You thinking that way too? We sure did a lot on this channel this year. I grabbed the books that we went through and they really were mostly on the topic of self-worth, self-love, really bettering ourselves, which of course this channel is certainly based on the principles of Sarah Ban Breathnach from Simple Abundance. And so we read through enough and learned a bit about how we are enough and how we can believe that we have enough. I have a love-hate relationship with this book, madly in love with me, but we sure did learn a lot from that. And I was looking back at my self-love tree and all the branches of self-love, and it's not just about your body or accepting your personality. There's self-care, there's self-nurturing, there's all those branches. So I definitely learned a lot, even though I struggle with that one. The Gifts of Imperfection by Brené Brown, I really think we got a ton out of this one. It's such a thin book, but she has so much to share, and that one really resonated with me. As I was thinking about the new year, by the way, with her in mind, I was going through some of the past books that we did. Of course, I guess I'll finish The Joy of Less. We learned a lot from that. A lot of people seem to like that. There were a lot of views on that. And we just finished You Can Create an Exceptional Life by Cheryl Richardson and Louise Hay. And of course, we did an extreme self-care challenge each month. And if you missed that, maybe you're just finding the channel now, you could always go back and challenge yourself to do a self-care challenge each month like Cheryl did. And what I was going to say about Brene and Louise and some of the other people that we talked about this year is, when I think about simple abundance, of course we have joy, harmony, beauty, order, simplicity, and gratitude. And then I think about these other authors that we've talked about. They also had their own sort of principles of living. And of course, simple abundance is about really enjoying the essence of life and the small things that make up the richness of life. Now, Louise, when she was talking about what she feels like her keys to having an exceptional life or being happy or feeling fulfilled, they were similar. Remember, there was a crossover. It was simplicity, optimism, patience, trust, growth, service, action, faith, and magnetism. So a little bit more than the simple abundance. And then I started to say, with Brené's book, she talks about cultivating the following. These are her guideposts: authenticity, self-compassion, a resilient spirit, gratitude, joy, intuition and trusting faith, creativity, rest and play, calm and stillness, meaningful work, laughter, song, and dance. So I was really thinking about all of those things collectively going into 2022. And of course, you know that I always choose a word of the year as well. This will be now my 6th year, I believe, doing that. And remember, there is that program called One Little Word, and there's a lot of people that participate in that and do much more than I actually do. I try to make my word be something that's really going to pre-pave the path for success, or it might be something I want to bring into my life. And so I did a lot of brainstorming on a word for 2022. And remember, 2021, we're finishing this up. This is our year to shine. Shine really was a good one for me. And I have shine things around my house, which now I will probably switch out to my next word. But I feel like going into this year and the things that I wanted to get out of shining, which was really sort of like shining myself up and shining a light on issues and the darkness of the depression that I sometimes struggle with. And I feel proud of where I am now based on a year ago. And on that note too, a year ago around this time, and I plan to do it tomorrow, I was opening my time capsule for you. And once again, I have no idea, I don't remember what I wrote myself. I'm not going to do it on camera this year, but remember I was opening that last year, and there had been so much change in my life in 2020. And of course, with the pandemic and everything we've gone through, thank God I changed for, not changed, thank God I prepared, I should say, for 2021 to be just sort of like more of 2020, because we are basically back where we were before with masking and everything, but I prepared for that anyway. So I will be opening my time capsule. I always use I don't know what holiday am I on, New Year's Day, not Christmas, but I always use New Year's Day as a day of really mapping out the year ahead, looking through my past journal and other journals and seeing what do I want to carry over. Remember, I always ask myself, what do I want to be, what do I want to do, what I want to have, what matters to me most, and why. And I'm happy to report, you guys know I like the Blue Sky journals from CVS. For the first time in about 4 years, they have more colorful options for the covers, so I have a fun new cover. And so anyway, I'm all over the place. I started to say about how I was coming up with my new word. I did tons of brainstorming, thought about things that I wanted to challenge myself with, things that I'm working on healing or learning more about, mending. And I also wanted to think about all those words. And of course, I want to bring simple abundance through to the new year as well, because that's what this channel is about. But that is really what resonates with me and the way that I would ideally like to be living my life in all of those realms. So my new word for 2022 is going to be heart. And remember last year when I was telling you about how I really liked the word shine because it can be a verb and an adjective, and it can be multiple things. Well, heart can also be multiple things. It's not necessarily an action word, but you can have heart. You can bring your heart to things. You can heal your heart. You can speak from the heart. So I just kept coming back to the word heart. I thought about making it the word wholehearted, but I just feel like that's a little bit more ambitious for me than I'm ready to do. But that leads me to what's happening for 2022 on the channel, and it's perfectly aligned with my word as well. And my word, coming up with my word, actually only partly had to do with this book, but it ties in perfectly. So we are going to be going through Brene Brown's new book called The Atlas of the Heart. And you can even see this beautiful picture on the front of it, which looks like the heart is a map, right? So it is going to tell us a lot. It's going to talk to us about emotions and understanding ourselves a little bit more. It's not like there's only happy and sad or mad and at peace. There's so many emotions, and each chapter starts off with something like the name of the chapter is something like where we go when we're hurt, where we go when we're embarrassed, where we go when we're misunderstood, things like that. I'm just off the top of my head saying where we go when things are going wrong or life is going good and all that. So if you get a chance to pick up this book, that would be great to have it. It is a beautiful book. It's a hardcover, as you can tell. And there are pages, some pages are sometimes like a full photo. So it's full color. It's really a beautiful book. There's actually even illustrations and things in here. So I actually think, and you know how long I milked that last book just with my life and the way that it is, I think this is going to be the entire year. There's 13 chapters, and rather than trying to break up the year into multiple books, I think I'm just going to focus on this one book, and hopefully it will be good, unlike the way that I started to try the Dr. Dyer book and I didn't make it. But I have already actually skimmed through, and I even read the foreword to this book, and I feel like it's already resonating with me and some things that I know that will help me in my year of heart. I haven't decided, but I will change over the look of the channel, but I haven't yet decided what I will say. If I will say like this is our year of heart, or this is our journey to the heart, or this is our heartfelt journey. I don't know. don't know what I'll say yet, but hopefully I'll figure that out before I see you next. But I did a lot of introspection for my word, and I hope if you feel like the word would help you as well, not necessarily my word, but if you feel like a word would help you to really have a focus for the year, I definitely encourage you to do it. And it doesn't have to be a huge project. You can sit down and ask yourself questions and journal about words that you want to emulate, or that are, maybe there's a word that keeps coming up when you think about what do you want out of your life, and it's like this theme that happens. Or as I was contemplating the word heart, then there were multiple things like visually that were coming to me. Like my friend gave me a photo of Annabelle, and it had little hearts around her picture, and so there were things that I just felt like, all right, I hadn't landed on it yet, but it was like giving me the like ding ding ding, like that's the right word. So that's my word. It isn't a verb, but I do feel like there are things that I can do with it which are action related, and I definitely am working always on my healing. And so I do believe that even though your brain is probably the center of life, or I mean, actually you need your heart to pump the blood too, but in terms of like maybe when you're dead, I think maybe it's like if your brain is still functioning too. I don't know. I'm not a scientific medical person, but energetically I do believe that the heart is really the center of our energetic being, I guess. So I'm going with that, and so I'm going to try to live my 2022 with heart. So what does that mean? I did do some planning in terms of the simple abundance principles. I made I should have had these again earmarked here for you, sorry. I did make a graph with the various principles on them here, and I journaled about, or just bulleted about what I could do for each one. So say like for order, we remember going through order and how having that order in your life, whether it's systems of organization or how you're planning your day or your schedule, things like that. I was trying to come up with 12, but I came up with more of them. But like in most cases here, it's like areas that I want to organize. So maybe take everything out from under my bed and organize it, purge, do things like that. So that's my order column. Can't speak tonight. Of course, we know joy. Oh, and that brings me to my joy plans for 2022. So I was so blessed by all the people that came up with the envelopes for me for 2021, and it really brought me back to myself, and I've shared that in some other videos. So a year ago, I really could not have probably come up with 12 things to look forward to on my own, and the envelopes made it extra fun. But I do feel like right now I have already planned January, February, March. I'm going to try to, and COVID might sort of like mess up some of the things I want to do, but I'm going to try to do 3 months at a time and know that something is coming up so that I can anticipate it and look forward to it, and know that even if I'm having a bad day, I can think like, oh, I have a vacation coming up, or I have this or that, or my friend and I are going to do this or go see this lovely thing. So joy is a column of a lot of different things that I want to do and experience. Harmony, remember, harmony is about feeling the balance in life, and it could be things like the balance of your emotions. It could be things like the balance of your body or your work-life balance and things like that. And like my top one here is get better sleep. So things like that. Even like I have like my desk at home, like revamping how harmonious it feels. And gratitude, do I need to say a lot about that? I need to get back onto a gratitude practice. I was so good with it into 2018, and even like my TGIF activity, thank God it's Friday, but with the letters standing for each thing. I could definitely get back to that. And also, I want to do things like, I loved the donations that I did in 2021. So I want to continue that. And even like, I just came back from lunch with a friend, and I wanted to give the server a big tip. So I gave her like actually more than my meal even cost for her tip. So like, I want to do things like that where I'm actually positively affecting other people. I consider that to be part of gratitude as well. So with all these lists that I've made, I'm going to take them into my planner, and you know how I like to make my little dividers with the image on the front and then the things on the back. I'm going to make sure that I am planning something that represents joy, harmony, beauty, order, simplicity, and gratitude. For beauty, remember, those are things that are like, are you savoring the beauty of sitting down for dinner at a nice set of china, or you have flowers on the counter, even like my birds, my garden, things like that. So, and even like actually on here, remember we replaced our underwear, a few years ago, and that's something that Sarah always encouraged us to like go through our makeup, go through our underwear, things like that. And even like beautifying yourself through maybe buying some new clothes or trying a new hairstyle or something like that. And of simplicity, I mean, that's so much of the simple abundance, right? So it can be things like that fill your love tank. Remember I told you about things like that? So it could be something as simple as like my favorite drink that I have at my desk. I've been having groceries delivered recently, and I considered that something that's simplifying stuff for me too, because I don't have to it takes me a few minutes to put the mental energy into putting my order in, but then I don't need to spend the time at the grocery store. I don't have to carry really any of it from my car to my house, because they just bring it right to my door. So things like that. And I always keep my list of how can I make such and such, or life in general, more simple. And reveling in the senses too. That's a big part of simple abundance. So I probably will try to have things like, for the fall, getting like the mulling spices and enjoying the smell, or maybe for the winter I'll get some pine smelling things or something. So again, it's like about the seasons and the senses. And the beauty, I forgot to say, remember how Sarah used to say, it's becoming an artist of the everyday. So how can you beautify what's around you? So that's what I'm doing for 2022. And I think it's going to help to fill up my heart as well. And I think I've said everything I was going to say. I'm not going to open my time capsule in front of you guys. I don't know that there's anything super personal in there, but I'm going to do that tomorrow on my own. And I hope if you didn't make a time capsule for 2021 that you might consider one for 2022. It's a really fun thing to see where you're at and what you thought the year might be. I was thinking as I spent the holidays with family that we never know what the next year will bring. Like, who might not be there next year, or who might be there. There might be like a new baby or something. You never know. So this is a time of year that I really enjoy looking ahead and also evaluating the past. And I think that we shined this year. I hope whoever was here with me on the channel, I hope you got something out of each of the books that we had. I know I certainly did, and I know that I'm better off for going through them, and I always enjoy sharing them on the channel. And I'm really looking forward to this Atlas of the Heart. It is a brand new book that just came out in December of this year, 2021. So look for it. You may have to order it if your bookstore is out of it. But it's a beautiful book, and I think it's going to be a beautiful message throughout, and an interesting journey as we journey through the heart. And I will see you on the next video as I figure out what I'm going to call the channel for 2022, and I'll give it a new, like a rebranding look too. very, very much loving all of you guys and thanking you for all your comments and support. And some of you have been here since day one. We're going into our 3rd year here. And I keep thinking, am I going to keep it going? But I love having the channel, and maybe I only do 1 or 2 videos a month going forward, but I do love having it and connecting with you guys. So thanks for being here, and I hope that your New Year's Eve and New Year's Day are both wonderful, and that there are many, many blessings ahead for you and yours. Big hug.